midway through the high school football regular season, and we've got two teams with just one loss between them meeting today in an afternoon clash at Ashland Community Stadium, where the Crestview Cougars will look to remain unbeaten, seeking a 6-0 start to the season against a 4-1 Ottawa Hills team with plans to spoil the Cougars' perfect campaign. It's live and free high school football streaming right into the palm of your hand. Broadcasting right now on smartphones, TVs, tablets, and PCs. And it's all on the way. Next.
Lender, craftsman, dog dead. We're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. The personal attention we provide comes from a promise to serve you with respect and compassion. By being responsive to your questions and taking time to understand your needs and goals, we give you more than just a place to bank. That's the more you can expect from Park National Bank. Find John or a banker near you at parknationalbank.com. Park National Bank, where you mean more.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Kissel's Lawncare. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
Four and 1 Ottawa Hills meets 5-0 Crestview in an early evening clash to close out Week 6 of the high school football regular season, as our live and free coverage of the Green Bears and Cougars begins right now. Good evening, folks, and welcome to Ashland Community Stadium. My name is Brian Skronsky, joined by the great Garrett Parlett, and we've got an exciting matchup, G-Man, at least on paper. Cougars off to an undefeated start, and the Green Bears winners of 4 straight, so probably a good barometer for both of these teams at the midway point to figure out what they're all about here tonight.
That's exactly what it is in Crestview. Ultimate trap game here, Ottawa Hills struggling a little bit. The teams they've beat are combined 2-17. However, they still sit at 4-1. They beat who they're supposed to beat, and so far they're second in their conference in Crestview. They got to stay in this game, keep their mind on this game, and not look towards next week.
I think everybody around the North Central Ohio area has been impressed with what we've seen from the Cougars. Nice 5-0 start given all the preseason question marks, but they've answered them all. They've checked every box. What do you think has made this team so good here halfway through the regular season?
They play a complete game, and they do it defensively and they do it offensively. The offense doesn't really care the defense, and the defense doesn't care the offense. They play as one, and the defense really they clamp up, man. They don't let offenses get in the red zone, and then on offensively they feed Connor Morris and Hayden Kuhn, and most importantly they don't turn the ball over. Hayden Kuhn, I believe he's got one interception so far through 5 weeks heading in tonight. So just for Crestview, they got to continue to do what they do, keep control of the game, and keep hold of the ball.
And here are your keys to the game for the Cougars. Just keep feeding Morris. He's who's got you here, and you cannot overlook the opponent here today, even though, as mentioned, the opponents so far for Ottawa Hills haven't been great. But on any given day, you can get beat. If you're Crestview, you just can't let that happen here today, playing on what is considered their home turf, at least until they get that new stadium turf laid in at their spot. But I'm told it's almost done, man. I've seen some pictures.
Couple weeks away. It looks gorgeous.
Looking pretty nice. I'm
sure Coach Havertill's amped to see. They're thinking about it coming back in week 8, but not sure about that. It might be there for St. Paul week, which would be a huge Firelands Conference game. Of course, if they can run the gauntlet here and meet up with St. Paul, that could determine a Firelands Conference pie.
So first offensive play here, we're going to get a toss to Blake Nepper. Doesn't get very far. Knocked down basically right at the line of scrimmage. Back off the wing. Wrapped up almost immediately by Wade Bolin.
And he is their bell cow back by Blake Nepper. He has 61 carries, 363 yards, and 7 touchdowns. They run that sort of Plymouth Lucas offense with the wing T, so Crestview used to seeing that at least once a year from Plymouth, but I'm sure Coach Havertill, he knows how he wants to combat it. But Ottawa Hills, man, that's a tough offense to stop any given night.
Basically the same look this time. In between the tackles goes Nepper. Into the teeth of the Cougar defense. Gang tackled by about 3 guys in black jerseys. Pickup of 2, but it's going to quickly become 3rd and 6 here. And this is a team obviously likes to get ahead of the chains, likes to run the football, so passing situations can be problematic. We'll see if they elect to just keep it on the ground, which is typically the style from this wing T flex offense.
And the coaches that run these kind of offenses don't really care about the big plays, the big shot plays down the field. They want to get 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards. As long as they get that first down, man, they're set up pretty well. But Chase Miller, when he does pass the ball, he's pretty efficient. Not a bad for a wing T quarterback. He's throwing 5 touchdowns, only 1 pick, 24 for 40 and 5 on 9. So I think he can get it done through the air. I've talked to Coach Havertill. He said that they like to spread it out a little bit sometimes and go back in the shotgun too.
Keep it on the ground, though. Toss, sweep, and nothing available there. Isaac Tajian wrapped up, brought down, and it's 4th down. The Cougars defense stands tall, 3 and out here to open up the game.
Exactly what you want defensively. Go out and get a stop almost immediately. 4th down will ensue for the Ottawa Hills Green Bears. Let's see what Crestview's offense can do, see if they get a score here on this next possession.
There's a look at Connor Morris, who has been just a little engine that always can for this team. Leads them in tackles on the season. One of the leading rushers in the entire area. He has just been fantastic the entire year for this Cougars offense. I think you could say probably the main reason that they're undefeated right now. Spectacular season so far for number 5.
I think that's one of the biggest surprises coming in. We all knew that they had the weapons outside with Gabe Smedley and Addison Raymer and Hayden Kuhn back under center for his first starting varsity experience. But Connor Morse, man, and that offensive line, I was here with you, Brian, when they played East Knox, and, man, they handled them up front, and we didn't expect that. And Connor Morse, man, was doing his thing, as Hayden Kuhn has also been doing his thing throughout the year as well.
On 1st down, they keep it on the ground, and Morris, big hole, and I think he's going to have a house call right away. This would be 74 yards, and Connor is going to take it into the zone, his 15th taste of pay dirt on the season.
Wow, man, we just got done talking about him, Brian, as well as the offensive line, and what a play from Connor Morris and that offensive front, man. He's a definition of a one-cut back. I've said it since I've seen him put his right foot in the ground and got up the field almost immediately and took it all the way to the house for pay dirt.
One play and one score. Connor Morris showing the burst. Give some love to the big fellas up front, too, creating a nice lane for him to drive through. And nobody laid a fingertip on him.
Well, nobody touched him. As soon as he was in that hole, Brian, he was gone like a Ferrari, man, hitting top speed all the way into the back of the end zone. Cougars, man, could be up 7-0 here early if they can make this PAT, and they can.
First quarter, 9:42. Cougars strike quickly. And they have been playing in front pretty much all season long, getting ahead of their opponents because of such a strong running attack. Connor Morris, wow, what a season he's had so far.
Incredible season for Connor Morris so far, man. He is dominating. Coming in tonight's game, he had 106 rushes for 760 yards and 14 TDs. The Cougars have 17 rushing touchdowns just here, and 14 of them come from Connor Morris, and that will be his 15th right there, as he averages 7.2 yards a carry. When we covered the East Knox game, Brian, against Crestview, I think he was up towards 9. So it's went down a little bit, but, man, that's more than 5 yards a carry. That's almost a first down every single time he touches the rock.
He's just such a rare exception for the rules of running back. He's a smaller guy, 5'9", probably about 165 pounds. He's got the burst. You've seen the speed. But what's great about Morris is that he doesn't shy away from contacts. He typically puts his foot in the ground. He makes one cut, and if there's people in his way, he'll lower his shoulder. He'll lay the boom. So he's a tough runner in between the tackles. He's not a typical smaller running back that likes to get to the edge and just show off the wheels. He does a little bit of all. A lot of versatile stuff.
I think he really embraces the contact. He wants some of that contact up front, and so he can bounce off defenders and get ghost.
Ottawa Hills will set up shop from the 32-yard line. Second offensive drive of the early evening for them, after the Cougars shut them down 3 and out on the previous possession. Just a beautiful night here in Ashland. First weekend of fall, and it's starting to set in. You see a little bit of the colors changing on the trees. You see the pumpkin spice all over the shelves now when you go to the grocery store, and there's just a little bit different feel when you outside. It smells a little bit different, G-Man. So when football season officially sets in, I think it's about now. I think it's about this week when fall gets here. Just a beautiful time of year.
You know, Brian, they call them the boys of fall, and that's exactly what they are right now. The fall season is setting in, and that means playoff time is coming up only a couple weeks away now. So this game, each game is going to mean something to both of these squads.
Different look this time. 3 receivers set, so they spread out the Cougars, but they all funnel to the football. It's going to be a 3-yard loss here on first down. Make it a 4-yard loss as Crestview, just everybody getting after it right there.
Ottawa Hills sent a pulling guard right there, and they still couldn't keep contained of Owen Barker. Tremendous job from Barker. 6'3", 185, man. He's a tough guy to block, and he got out there and dragged the defender down for a loss.
Barker, one of the leaders in North Central Ohio in tackles for loss. He has been dynamite up front all season long for the Cougars. They go to the air here. First completion of the contest for Miller.
I think what Ottawa Hills is realizing is Crestview's kind of used to this offense where it's run, you know, they play Plymouth once a year. They're used to this kind of offense. They're going to try to spread them out now. I mean, that's a nice gain. Get it out to one of your wide receivers, one of your athletes, and let him do the rest.
Basically back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 9 on the way here for the Green Bears. Miller, the quarterback, just a freshman. So this is a tough spot for him. Lefty rolling left and can't get away from the pressure. He was able to throw it out of bounds, but you see Owen Barker, he's got some unique speed from the defensive line spot, able to get back there, create some havoc almost instantly.
Not only unique speed, you see it on the Sutton Bank replay right there, Brian, just blowing up the defender and getting into the backfield. Almost had a sack, man. He is going to be a problem if Ottawa Hills cannot contain him.
Back-to-back 3-and-outs for the Green Bears offense. Be forced to kick it away. Back deep for Crestview, Addison Raymer. He's going to let this thing take a hop at the 35. Takes a Green Bear bounce. And will roll dead at the 22. So we'll get our second look at the Crestview offense. We just needed one play for that 74-yard touchdown run by Connor Morris to kick things off.
Going to be hard to replicate an opening drive as perfect as that one, man. One play to the back of the end zone. Let's see if the Cougars can get it done.
Crestview has been churning out 244 rushing yards per game on average so far through 5 weeks. Putting up almost 40 points per game, too. So this is an offense that's been clicking, certainly in the running attack. And this time they'll give it to Gage Bloodhart. Keeping Morris over on the bench, at least for first down, and now number 3 checks back in.
This Crestview ball club has outscored their opponents 198-66, so they get it done on both sides of the ball. The offense is very high flying, and the defense, man, they're pretty stingy. So Crestview out early here, 7-0 over Ottawa Hills.
One receiver set, Raymer, the lone man to the outside. Kuhn lets it fly. One-on-one coverage. Raymer adjusts, pulls it in at the opponent's 40-yard line. Huge gainer, and then a flag comes in late. I think this may be taunting against Raymer. Might have had something to say to the defensive back.
It's exactly something you don't want to do if you're Raymer. Big play right there, and it's going to negate with the penalty a couple yards. But what a throw from Hayden Kuhn, man. Got his arm hit and still put it right on the money. Dropped it in a bucket. I believe Raymer spun the ball in the defender's face, and the refs are always going to call that a taunting penalty, so it's going to back the Cougars up.
That, though, a gainer of about 40. And the penalty coming after the play, though, so just backs him up 15 yards from where he ended, putting Crestview at the 47-yard line. 2-back set. They keep it on the ground again. No room to the left side this time. Wade Bolin on the carry. Picked up about 2.
Great play from the Ottawa Hills defensive line, getting in the backfield, gets some penetration and dragging Bolin down. I believe that was a loss on the play, and now see if Ottawa Hills can pin their ears back and maybe get to the QB.
Off the jet sweep. The Green Bears were ready for it. Tried to get into the hands of their speedster, Tanner Moore, track star. Blocking wasn't able to settle in, and now the Green Bears got the Cougars in a 3rd down and long situation.
Tremendous play right there from Luke Nepper, getting in the backfield because of Moorman got outside. That could have been dangerous. He's got elite speed. He could have been off to the races, but huge play for Ottawa Hills to force a 3rd down here.
Play action. Kuhn rolls this way, throws, and too tall, trying to hook up with Gabe Smedley. It's been one of his favorite targets on the season.
He had Smedley wide open, just wasn't able to get his feet set. I think he slipped a little bit. Errant throw and overthrew Gabe Smedley. It's going to be 4th down, so Ottawa Hills, big-time stop right there. Didn't want the Cougars to go down and score and really get the momentum on their side, so see what they can do offensively.
So the Cougars punt unit out onto the field. And it almost feels like Crestview's offense tried to get a little cute there. They handed it off to Connor Morris on the first play of the game. He gets ghost for 74 yards, and then they don't give it to him there. I don't really understand that philosophy, G-Man. Help me understand.
Well, Brian, I'm just as confused as you are. You know, you want to get the ball into your best player's hands. I mean, the jet sweep call was a little up in the air, but I mean, I understand where they're trying to get it to their athletes on the outside. But feed Connor Morris, man. It's working. Just continue to do it. You know, they say, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. feed Morrison, feed that offensive line and get them going and see if we can get the clock running and get them out of here with a win.
So give kudos to the Green Bear defense, getting the offense back on the field. And Ottawa Hills, they've played some pretty stout Ds so far on the season, just giving up 14.8 points per game. We talked about it a few times already, though. 3 of their wins over teams that are 0-6 on the year. You can only play who's on your schedule. It's not the Green Bears' fault that Hilltop, Margaretta, Swanton all struggling a bit this season. But they've played pretty well defensively so far throughout their 5 games.
And I think the big-time mark on that schedule is the game against Gibsonburg week 1. Held them to 14 points, man. That's a big game, and they're atop their conference. So Gibsonburg, a pretty solid squad. I believe they're sitting at 5-1 now. So I think that's something the Ottawa Bears can hang their hat on. As you mentioned, you can only play the people on your schedule. They've done their job. They beat who they're supposed to be. Today is another big test for this Ottawa Bears team.
And pretty banged up, too. They've got a handful of key guys out that were week 1 starters that have been lost over the last few weeks, as Barker creating some pressure. Bolin able to get in there, drop him down for a sack.
Not sure if Bolin just was unblocked or just got there that fast, but that was lightning speed from the defensive lineman getting in the backfield and getting the sack is not what you want. Looks like he just shot right through the gap, and 68 did not pick him up. Huge sack for the Crestview defense.
3rd down and 16 on the way for the Green Bears. And probably the strength of this Crestview defense this season has been the secondary. So these are not places where you want to be in. Obvious passing down, and you see they come up. They've got some physical guys, lots of speed on the perimeter. Probably a smart play just to try to set up a screen. And a good burst, but tripped up. A.J. George got grabbed by the shoestring. Had he not, looked like he was going to go for at least 10 more yards and pick up that first down. Instead, it's going to be 4th.
And A.J. George is the leading pass catcher on this team, 344 yards and 3 touchdowns, and just got the ball out to his athletes. Look like they're going to go for it too, Brian. It looks like a 4th and maybe 2 or 3, so big-time play here already in the first quarter.
This is an interesting gamble, just trailing 7-0 early in the game.
Might just be trying to draw them off sides here.
Now they're going to run it to the left side, and nothing is there. Barker with the first contact. A couple more Cougars coming in to help make the stop. And I hate questioning coaches for their decision-making, but so early in the game, G, you're backed up. You're only at your own 26-yard line. Hard to really process why you think picking up a first down is so valuable right here.
And especially in your own territory, man. It's a different call, but Crestview defense, man, stepped up, getting the ball back to the offense, especially only down 7 points. Be different if Crestview scored on the possession before. But the defense showed up, man. They stopped them. I believe they had 2 tackles for losses, so curious decision from the Ottawa Hills coaching staff.
Here's Connor Morris. Flag flies as Nepper makes the stop. Looks like this is going to be a hold against the Cougars, which will negate what would have been about a 5-6 yard run for Connor.
Crestview coming out today a little sloppy to Coach Haverdel's liking. I know he's not happy with the penalties, with the Raymer taunting call, and then this is the holding one. So they were in Ottawa Hills territory. This might put them back towards the 50 and hurt their chances for scoring a TD.
And one thing the Cougars have done well consistently throughout the season through 5 weeks is not hurt themselves with penalties, only giving away 30 yards per game of penalty yardage. Right now they've got 2 for 20. Kuhn flushed. Pressure comes, and he's going to be drugged down. Sacked on the play by George. Brought him down at the 45-yard line.
George, man, he is a menace on the defensive side of the ball. I believe he is their leading tackler, and that was sticky coverage from the Green Bears secondary. They were draped all over the offensive wide receivers, and Hayden Kuhn really had no room to go anywhere as George was right there in his back pocket to get him for the sack.
If you're Kuhn there, he was certainly outside the tackle box. Probably just want to throw that thing away, not give up the 4 yards on the sack, because this makes it 2nd and 27 as he rolls to the left side this time, and he's going to be dropped again back on the Cougar side of the field. Couple of Green Bears there to make the tackle. including Luke Nepper with the first contact.
Maybe this Green Bears coaching staff, Brian, went for it because they knew their defense was going to step up big, and two big sacks here for the Green Bears. It's going to be 4th and a mile. I'm sure Crestview just going to punt this one away.
Just third down here.
Just third down. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Getting ahead of myself.
The mile was correct, though. They need 39 yards. They got to get to the 19 to move the chains.
Can't fall asleep, though, if you're the Green Bears defense. Crestvew's got some elite wide receivers out there. Got to stay all over them and drape to them.
Kuhn rolling to the right. Decides to just tuck in and run. Knocked down on the play by Jack Vincent. And so now the punt team going to come on for the Cougars. And that's just got to leave a bitter taste in your mouth. Your defense comes up with a big stop. You're getting the ball around the 25-yard line. You're knocking already on the red zone, and instead you backtrack 30 yards?
Yeah, a crucial misplays by the Crestview offensive line, letting some defenders get in there. But I think it's more a credit to Ottawa Hills defense, man.
Sure.
They had a few good plays, the big sack. And the secondary, as I've been watching, they're really draped all over the defenders, as I mentioned, and the wide receivers can't get any space. But that's going to be a nice punt and pin Ottawa Hills, I believe, at the 13 or 14-yard line.
So both defenses standing tall here over the last couple of offensive possessions. Crestview D back out onto the field. Still have not allowed a first down to the Green Bears in the first quarter. Almost in the books. Looks like the play late getting into the huddle. Chase Miller was over on the sideline having a long conversation with the offensive coordinator. And now down to 2 seconds on the play clock. They do get it off, but I believe we're going to get a false start. 2 men moving on the play.
Not what you want if you're a Green Bear fan. Is already in bad field position territory. It's even going to get worse. And this Crestview stingy defense, man, they're going to try to get some sacks and force some turnovers here.
So 1st and 15 coming up here for the Green Bears. Penalties sputtering both offenses here of late. They bring a man in motion, back to pass as Miller takes a big pop right at the 5-yard line. Obviously shaken up on the play.
Big time hit from the Crestview defense. Not sure who got to him, but
wow.
I believe it was going to be Aiden Gotze.
And then how about Mitch Klein from the backside? Did you see he pancaked the offensive lineman?
He's used to doing that on offense, but not today so far. The defensive side of the ball, Klein with a huge hit.
Ottawa Hills really taking their time to get in and out of the huddle. I don't think they're going to get this one off. Not sure if they were able to call a timeout. They will. So the Green Bears call their first timeout here. Head coach Chris Hardman has had an interesting path back to being head coach, taking over again this season. He was an assistant back in the mid-'80s under Norm Niedermeyer, told a legendary coach out there at Ottawa Hills. In 1998, he took over, coached them for 15 seasons. He moved down to the junior ranks, was coaching 7th and 8th grade the last few years, and then became an assistant again over the last few seasons. The head coach, who had been coaching the team for the last 3 seasons, now is the offensive coordinator. In step Hardman, so it's a big tangled web of guys that have been at least around the program for a long time. So it's some good consistency, good continuity. Coach Hardman, too, I believe, has been the baseball coach for the Green Bears for something like 40 years, too. So he knows a lot of these kids, probably their parents, their grandparents, the whole 9 yards.
It's nice to have some to see familiar faces going in as a coach. You don't want to have different coaches every year you step onto the field, and I'm sure those players enjoy him and happy to see his face back as the head coach and see if they can get something going here, as they do sit at 4-1 this year. So a solid record. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. This would be a big game if they can pick this one up on the road.
Second down, they reverse. George coming near side, big hole. Shows a burst. George into the open field. Moore, the fastest man maybe that we have in the contest, able to finally catch him. But a huge play here for the Green Bears could energize this team and certainly this offense.
It looked like there was no room to go down the sideline. He tight-roped all the way. Beautiful blocking, double team right there. I'm not sure what Caden Cunningham is doing, engaging the blockers right there. Should have went for the obviously the runner as he walks a tightrope down the sideline. But if Tanner Moore isn't on that field, man, that is a touchdown for A.J. George and company.
Huge burst right there. Over 60 yards on the run. Now they got him set up on the doorstep here to the red zone, and they'll break inside it of the red zone, though the ball is loose, recovered by Jack Parizak.
Right place, right time. That one would have been a drive killer if Crestview could have recovered. Momentum would have swept right back, and definitely a fumble. And Jack Parizak just right there to fall on it and get the ball back to his Green Bears. That's going to be into the first quarter.
So Crestview on top, 7-zip after one. We'll be right back. Quarter number 2 on the way from Ashland Community Stadium.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Lender, craftsman, dog dead. We're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. The personal attention we provide comes from a promise to serve you with respect and compassion. By being responsive to your questions and taking time to understand your needs and goals, we give you more than just a place to bank. That's the more you can expect from Park National Bank. Find John or a banker near you at parknationalbank.com. Park National Bank, where you mean more.
Second down and 4 for the Green Bears to open up quarter number 2. Brian Skronsky, Garrett Parlett with you on the call here from Ashland Community Stadium on a beautiful Saturday afternoon to kick off the official start to the fall season here in the great state of Ohio. And we've got a great matchup on hand for you folks. Crestview 5-0 on the season. Ottawa Hills 4-1, winners of each of their last 4 ball games too. And knocking on the doorstep here, G, looking to tie things up. This is a big drive for them, I think, to try to get some points. Could change the whole complex of this game.
Yeah, I think some of those players are really down coming in thinking, Crestview's going to blow the doors off them. But so far tonight, man, they have showed up and showed out, especially that defense. They have stopped Crestview pretty handily. They've had a lot of sacks and a couple of tackles for loss. So Crestview needs to wake up, and Ottawa, they need to continue to do what they're doing, get a touchdown here, and get some momentum back. Put some faith and put some confidence in yourself.
So an interesting spot here. It's going to be 4th down and 2. And it appears that the Green Bears are going to kick a field goal. And I do know that Emilio Duran, one of the stars of the team.
Yeah. I've seen this guy in warm-ups. This guy is crazy. He was making 54-yarders through the upright, but it's going to be a bad snap, and they're going to run a little bit of special, and it's not going to work. It's going to be stopped as Crestvew's going to get the ball, but as I mentioned, that guy was making 54-yard field goals with ease.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting when I was talking to the coaching staff before the game. I came right out of the gates, who's some guys to keep an eye on. And the second name that come out their mouth was the kicker, which is pretty uncommon. You don't hear that a ton. So, yeah, I was looking forward to seeing Emilio get a chance to boot it there, but no chance for Duran on the low snap.
And that's unfortunate too. Ottawa Hills desperately needed some points there. I'm sure Crestview's going to try to wake their offense up, and get down the field here and see if they can make this a 14-point advantage.
I think one way to always do that is just feed the beast, Connor Morris. Here he is on first down, getting out across the 20, pick up a 5. And he just always seems to get positive yardage, G. As mentioned, 7.2 yards per clip is what he has been putting up on average coming into tonight's contest. And that's just his second carry after on the first play from scrimmage for Crestview, he broke loose for a 74-yard touchdown.
I think they need to continue to feed him and get this offensive line going, get the Crestview moving company going, as they're going to give it to Wade Bolin, and he might be off to the races, Brian. Down the sideline he goes. I don't think anybody's going to catch him. That's going to be a touchdown for the Cougars. Wade Bolin, what a run.
79-yard house call. Got Cougar Nation up on their feet here on the home side. But two flags came in late, and I think I know what they came in for, and it was 15 yards behind the play. There was a total unnecessary block when Bolin was about at the 5-yard line. So the Cougars shoot themselves in the foot. The points are going to come off the board here, and the block in the back, I think it occurred at about the 15-yard line, so it'll back the Cougars up to about the 15 or the 20. And here it is right here. It's Owen Barker, just no need at all.
Exactly. That is a huge miscue. There's absolutely – I mean, he's walking into the end zone. What is the – it's like Barker went to extend as if he was trying not to get a penalty. There's no point to even try to block him. He's 15 yards away from Wade Bolin on the touchdown, so a big mishap for the Crestview Cougars. That was going to be an easy touchdown.
So penalties a factor so far early in the game for the Cougs when – I complimented them for what they had done through 5 weeks earlier in the broadcast. Just 4 penalties per game for about 30 yards. And even though there wasn't a lot of contact there, you're right. He did the gator arms. Yeah. Just like, I'm not really trying to push him that hard, but there's just no reason to touch the defender at all. And I think maybe the way that Nepper fell, getting injured, probably helped a couple of those flags come out too. So the Green Bears defense energized after the points come off of the board, and they knock down Crestview for a short loss here on first down.
I think if you take away those 2 big runs from Crestview, I think Ottawa Hills D-line really has been handling Crestview's offensive line up front. They've had a lot of sacks, a couple tackle for losses, and Crestview can't really get anything going. They've had the 2 big runs, but other than that, it's really been all Ottawa Hills defensively.
The 3-5 stack getting the job done right now for the Green Bears. Though blocking forms to the outside. Morris couldn't find a lane as he's dragged down. Ben Burke able to grab him down low. And it'll make it 3rd down. Cougars will need right around 5 yards to continue the drive.
Got to give a shout out to Mason Ringler, the center for Crestview on that play. Man, he was pulling on the outside and absolutely pancaked the defender. Is going to need some of the syrup on the sideline when he returns from his offensive line coach.
Play action. Kuhn throws it back. Near side, Morris cuts inside, and he's going to be hit. Dropped right at the line to gain. From our vantage point, looks like he's going to be about 2 feet short. So it's going to be 4th down and less than a yard here. And decision time for Crestview. Probably just going to roll the dice and run it.
Yeah, I think at this point, offense has been, a little subpar. Get some momentum. See if you can get this first down and get some points.
2 back set. Bolin, the lead back. And he opens the hole for Morris, who's going to get into the end zone. Scampers in from 16 yards out. Getting by the first would-be tackler. And then Morris just doing what he does best. Finding the zone for the 2nd time tonight.
If you're a defender, you cannot just put your head down and see if you're going to knock Connor Morris over. You got to drive your feet in right here. He just hits him with a boomstick, man, right in the hole. Boom. Sits the defender down and walks into the end zone. As, man, Connor Morris is the engine to this Crestview offense. When he is doing great, man, they are thriving. And right here, up 13-0 pending the PAT.
16 touchdowns on the ground for Connor Morris this year. And the PAT is good, so 14-0 Crestview on top here at Ashland Community Stadium. And that was our key to the game. Just feed the beast, man. Get the ball to Morris, and typically good things happen. And so far for Crestview, when he has touched the ball, smiles are on faces of Cougar Nation.
He had that big long run, I believe it was first play of the game, all the way to the house. And then they went away from him for a few drives, and nothing really was working. And then they went right back to him, and look at the result, Brian.
Boom!
Touchdown. So, obviously, feed Connor Morris, get him the ball. I think he's their best player offensively. And that offensive line, man, when you get the run blocking going, it sets up the pass blocking. As a former offensive lineman, that was exactly what you want to do. And right here, Crestview's got the run game going here early.
And for Crestview, pretty much all season they've used the run game to set up the passing game. So they need to be able to churn out big chunk yardage in the run game to work off that play action. You see that they fake it to the back almost every single time. I don't know an exact percentage, but I'm sure Hayden Kuhn, probably his percentage of completions this year, 80 or 90% of them probably coming off of play action. That's how the Cougars like to run things here offensively. And if you got the weapons like they do in the backfield, led by Morris, Bolin, Bloodhart, and Rogers, you know, it's a recipe for success, and so far, 5 games, 5 wins. Cutback lane developing here on the return. Reddick, Pillarelli to the outside, and a pretty decent gain. He's got the Green Bears set up at the 38-yard line.
I think this is a make-it-break-it drive for the Green Bears. They got to get some kind of points on the board. And just not even to cut into the lead, just to get some momentum on their side. Crestview really been shooting themselves in the foot. Ottawa Hills needs some momentum so they can get some confidence before going into half.
Ottawa Hills' last drive ended with a botched snap on a field goal attempt. And that's the risk you run sometimes. A lot of things got to go right to be able to make a field goal. I know that it's one of the more simple plays in football, or at least seemingly simple, but there's a lot of different factors at play. So for the Green Bears, that was a tough one, tough pill to swallow, but they certainly have this guy having a big performance so far. A.J. George making his presence felt again. 4 more yards here.
They need to get the ball into his hands. He has had a great first half so far, and looks like Tanner Moore is going to be shaken up, and that might be a big hit to Crestview's secondary if he cannot get up and shake it off.
Here's another look. So Moore kind of had his head grabbed by A.J. George as they went down to the ground, and you're right, he's been spectacular for him. Had a pick 6 earlier in the year that he took back for the Cougars, and just kind of been a lockdown defender for him. They've had a few guys in the secondary who have been special, but most teams kind of go away from Moore's side because he has such elite speed. He can just close the gap on you, but at least he's up, he's walking over to the sideline, probably going to be fine.
Yeah, should be able to shake it off. He's a tough kid, and for Ottawa Hills, feed A.J. George, man. I feel like every offensive play that's been positive, it's been to A.J. George, and get it out to him quick and get him in space and see if he can make the defenders miss.
George lined up on the wing, tight end spot here to the near side. And I think the plan was probably to get it to him quickly as Bolin comes up with the tackle there, but he wasn't able to get off his block as fast as I think the play design called for.
Was a tremendous play action fake. It got Gabe Smedley in the backfield, but Wade Bolin just closes the gap hard, man, and what a tough tackle from the linebacker.
So 3rd down, 5 yards needed for the Green Bears. The 48-yard line is the line to gain here to move the chains. Miller with the toss to the outside. And Pillarelli just nowhere to go, swarmed by about 4 different Cougars defenders to help bring up 4th down.
I think the Crestview defense is starting to get their legs back underneath them. Had a shaky first quarter, but here they are, man, swarming to the ball as multiple tacklers were in there to stop. I think Owen Barker was the main guy to bring him down.
So the punt unit back on for the Green Bears. Super high spiraling punt. And Crestview will take over at the 21-yard line. 5:44 to go here in the second quarter. Cougars with an opportunity to add to their lead before the break.
Plenty of time here, too. You can run the ball, pass it, do basically almost anything in the playbook, so no rush. Try to clock this down right before half. Might play it perfectly, get some points, and then walk into halftime with a 21-point advantage.
Pro set on first down. They hand off. Morris busted up in the backfield. George, who else? Flying in there to make a play.
Tremendous play from A.J. George, just fleeing right into the gap. Kinky was untouched and wrapped up Connor Morris, and that's exactly how you have to tackle him. Grab his legs, man, and pin him to the ground. It's heck of a play from the defender, A.J. George.
Leading tackler on this Green Bear team, showing you why. Great pursuit that time. Just a heck of a read. Then a quality tackle in the backfield, loss of 3. Now the Cougars jump on second down. Mitch Klein with the false start.
This is different to see, Brian. We haven't seen Crestview this sloppy in a first half, and I don't think all year. I think this is the game so far that really stuff hasn't been clicking, and so far they're still out to the 14-point advantage, man. But it's still up in the air. Ottawa Hills, it's still there. If they want a chance, they're definitely still in this one.
So we're just talking about it maybe being a perfect recipe for the Crestview offense to try to play the clock right, get some points. Instead, it might be the Ottawa Hills defense that's going to get their O back onto the field and have a chance to try to cut into this deficit here. Though Crestview's got one more down, but they got to get at least 16 yards here to keep the drive alive.
Ottawa Hills can get a stop that should be in some pretty good field advantage as well, so bodes well for Green Bears to get a stop.
Kuhn from the gun. Fakes it to Morris. Now breaks the pocket. Hayden Kuhn with a lot of room to the outside. Makes a shimmy, shake, and reaches, and I think he's got the first down.
What a play from Hayden Kuhn right there, getting out of the pocket, showing his awareness, and reaches for the first down. Heads-up play from the QB. And I think they are going to give the first down, Brian. It's a heck of a run from Hayden Kuhn.
And I didn't see anybody available downfield. Hayden kind of got some happy feet, I think. He broke the pocket after about only 2 seconds, but able to make a dynamite run out to the 32-yard line. But the coverage so far from the Green Bears has been pretty good. Receivers aren't running open. They're playing man-to-man with safety help over top, and so far it's been pretty good.
Yeah, the man coverage, the Green Bears, has been dynamite as they're going to give it back to Connor Morse, and he's going to get a couple. But so far, man, shout out to that secondary. We haven't seen a lot of teams be able to run, athlete for athlete with Crestview on the outside, but so far today, Ottawa Hills has been doing so.
Haven't really seen Smedley or Raymer make an impact on the offensive side of the football yet. Six combined touchdowns for those two, 3 each in the receiving game. This time he's looking for Smedley. He's got his first catch, able to shake off the first would-be tackler, and then brought down at the 46-yard line, gain of 11 on the play.
And the tremendous thing about these wide receivers, Gabe Smedley himself, is the yak yardage, the yards after the catch. Puts his foot in the ground right there on that curl route. Hayden Kuhn puts it right on the money, right on the hands, and he makes the defender miss, shakes out of a tackle, and gets more yardage.
Clock approaching 3 minutes to play here before the half. So they bring Raymer in motion. They'll fake it to Kim. Kuhn bursting out of the middle. Into the red zone. Another big run for Hayden Kuhn. Give him 35 more on that carry.
Tremendous play call from Coach Keener and the staff, the offensive coordinator for Crestview with the veer option. Everyone thinks the ball is going to Addison Raymer on the outside. Defender goes up. Hayden Kuhn keeps it and slips right by everybody. Nobody's looking at him until the Green Bears can swarm to him, get him, but not before he gets into the red zone for the Cougars.
Great ball fake to set that up for Hayden Kuhn. Holding that mesh for as long as he could. This time he'll hand it to Morris. And he's going to squirt his way through the gaps into the end zone for the third time tonight.
Untouched, too. Nobody touched him all the way to the end zone. And beautiful blocking up front from the Crestview Moving Company. And Connor Morse, man, 3 touchdowns. I believe he's under double-digit runs today. I believe he has like 5 or 6 runs. So pretty efficient day so far for Connor Morse.
And just the vision to be able to slip through those creases. Most of the credit going to the boys up front. You saw a hat on a hat all over the field right there for Crestview, making it easier for Morris to get into the end zone for the third time. 21-0 is now the Crestview advantage.
Ottawa Hills got to get something now. You got to get some kind of points before half because all the momentum is now swinging to Crestview. And Crestview's played a pretty bad first half of football to Coach Haverdale's liking, I'm assuming. So 21-0 still. They still got a big advantage, but Ottawa Hills has got to respond here before half.
With that carry and touchdown, Morris over 100 yards in the game now. He's been over 100 in all 6 contests so far this season.
And that's what makes you, a super elite player when coaches know that you're being game planned for. Connor Morris, over 100 yards every single game. Coaches are watching film on him, and so far, man, he still can't be stopped, and he still clips that 100-yard mark. And today, he's 3 for 3 with the touchdown runs.
Morris has just been so valuable in the run game. We've seen on a couple of occasions this season, in particular the game that really stands out on the road at Western Reserve. I think that was week 4, a couple of undefeated teams going toe-to-toe, big Fireland Conference game, and Morris did his thing, went over 2 Bills in that one and a couple of touchdowns. Back deep to receive, Pillarelli. Dives forward, reaching for the 30. So Ottawa Hills, still some time on the clock, 2:35 to go here. So they've got an opportunity to be aggressive on offense if they want. Try to march down the field and get some points before the half here.
Still got time to run the ball, too, a few plays. We just got to be quick, moving offensively. I'm sure they're going to be probably in the hurry-up for most of this drive and see if they can get some points on the board and cut into this Crestview 21-point lead.
Come out in the wing T flex yet again. It's Nepper on the run. Looks like he picked up about 1 on the gain. And the Green Bears, as they have been the entire first half, in no hurry whatsoever, G-Man. They don't even get the play in until there's about 10 seconds on the play clock.
Well, in this particular scenario, I think they need to pick it up a little bit. 2 minutes, maybe spread it out. I know Chase Miller likes to throw the ball around, but it looks like they're going to elect to go back to the wing tee. Maybe they want to, take their lumps, run this clock out, and get into the second half and see if they make some adjustments.
They motion George out wide as more of a decoy as they toss it to Nepper. Makes a couple of men miss. Get into the open field. Moore able to track him down. Or actually tackle on the play there by Cunningham.
Well, Brian, that's definitely why I'm the one up here commentating in the booth, not calling the plays, because it's working down there. Beautiful run play right there. Got it to go. Hat on a hat. Tremendous job from Nepper to squeeze through the little hole, make a few defenders miss and get a big gain and some momentum back for Ottawa Hills. Here is the run on the replay. And nice block right there from the fullback. Gets in the hole and outraces almost all defenders. If Caden Cunningham wasn't there, that would be 6. Tanner Moore, though, was trailing him. He might have caught him.
Yeah, I just see that long lettuce hanging out the back of the lid, and it can get a little bit confusing with these DBs. As Nepper with another hard run. A couple of flags, though, fly in. And I think after that 33-yard pickup here, I'm going to guess that the Green Bears are going to be a little bit faster getting up to the football now, as they're sensing that they could come away with some points here, though that penalty not helping the cause.
They might try to play their cards right, Brian, and see if they can get the kicker out on the field and try another one. Maybe try one out for these fans and let them know that we got one of the better kickers in the area. Make a 55-yarder out here. Maybe. You never know.
I'm always down to watch feats of greatness, so if Duran gets an opportunity to boot a deep one, that would be pretty cool. Clock continuing to run. Play clock now. Down to 3. See if they get it off. They will. They're going to toss it to George. He catches a block to the outside. Things setting up well here for the Green Bears, as he gets all that penalty yardage back and then some out to the 33.
Nice play call from the coaching staff there. He spread everybody out. Still going to run the ball, but just going to change it up a little bit. Brings A.J. George on the jet sweep, pitches it to him, and gets the first down. Nice stiff arm right there, but Connor Morris pushes him out of bounds. So get the penalty yards back and a little bit more yards and sets them up. See if they change the pace that they're going at, kind of running some of the clock, but got out of bounds there. 1:05 left. Plenty of time. Let's see what they can do.
Miller back from the gun this time. Bring George in motion. They'll fake it to him. Inside give, Nepper blown up. No chance on that one. Cougars read it perfectly. Aiden Gotze, in particular, from the linebacker position. Watch him just jet in here, make a big play.
And I'm curious why the Green Bears seem as if they're running at such a slow pace and there's no tempo. There's really no sense of urgency to get any kind of points here on the board. You're in plus territory. You're in Cougar territory. Try to get something on the board here and see if you can push the ball down the field. Looks like they're going to elect to go with that slow pace and set them up.
3rd down and 7. They fake it to Nepper. They put it up. A man is open and making the catch there. Jack Parizek, the fullback. Athletic play there on the boundary.
Got the toe tap in, Brian. What a beautiful catch. High point the ball. He did get a foot down. So, heck of a catch from the fullback.
But the problem is, you only got 20 seconds now. They're so slow getting in and out of the huddles that they're kind of making this a bit more challenging. Now you almost have to look to the end zone, even though they do have 2 timeouts left. So I guess there's still a decent amount of time, but there could be a lot more. Miller back to throw, has to break the pocket. Pressure in his face, scrambles back to his left. Now throws back across his body, and Connor Morris diving for the interception at the 20-yard line. Big takeaway here for the Cougs.
Cardinal send for inner QB. Never want to throw a back across your body, and right there, Chase Miller is going to throw the pick to Connor Morris. Heck of a play, diving grab, but I think the biggest takeaway from that drive was the sense of urgency, Brian. There was just they ran way too much time off the clock. I believe on the play before the interception, they had a minute, and they ran it all the way down to 30 and then ran the play, and not sure where he was looking. Man was really, blanketed, and Crestvew's going to need this one out and head into halftime with a 21-point advantage.
That's what you can typically expect from a freshman quarterback on the road in this type of environment. Cougars elect to just take a knee. They're going to take the 21-point cushion into the break. So we'll step aside. We'll be back with the Simonson Construction halftime. Break down what we saw through the first couple of quarters. Get you ready for the second half of football action. And don't forget, we'll also have the halftime entertainment courtesy of the Cougars Marching Band. So stick with us. The Simonson halftime is on the way.
Lender, craftsman, dog dad. We're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. The personal attention we provide comes from a promise to serve you with respect and compassion. By being responsive to your questions and taking time to understand your needs and goals, we give you more than just a place to bank. That's the more you can expect from Park National Bank. Find John or a banker near you at parknationalbank.com. Park National Bank, where you mean more.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Kissel's Lawncare. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
For their second number, the band brings to you the 1967 hit recorded by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, first appearing on the album Make It Happen. This song would later be released in the UK as a single in 1970. This record is also known for being one of the only hip-hop singles to feature bassoon. Here is the MCP's performance of The Tears of a Clown. To close the show, the MCP presents a song first recorded in 1966 by the Supremes. Recorded in 8 sessions before settling on a version for release. This song was ranked number 339 on Rolling Stone's The Greatest 500 Songs of All Time. Give it up for the Marching Cougar Pride as they play, You Keep Me Hanging On. Marching Cougar Pride hopes you enjoyed their halftime show. Due to Ottawa's band being unable to travel tonight, we will continue with some stand fan favorites.
Lender, craftsman, dog dead. We're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. The personal attention we provide comes from a promise to serve you with respect and compassion. By being responsive to your questions and taking time to understand your needs and goals, we give you more than just a place to bank. That's the more you can expect from Park National Bank. Find John or a banker near you at parknationalbank.com. Park National Bank, where you mean more.
to construction halftime, where they take you from concept to completion. They can help make a plan, refine your vision, and build a path for success. The path for success so far in this game, for the Crestview Cougars, is just get the ball to Connor Morris, set it up, and get out the way. He's got all 3 touchdowns for him as they lead Ottawa Hills 21-0 after 2 quarters of action. Connor also had an interception to close out that first half and end in Ottawa Hills, their best drive that they had so far. And as you take a look at the numbers here, G-Man, the ground game is what has been producing wins for Crestview all season long and getting it done again here today, 216 on the ground.
Connor Morris once again putting his stamp on the game. 3 touchdowns today. He's had 2 pretty long runs. And Ottawa Hills, they've had a few long runs themselves, but other than their couple long runs, it's really just been, for the Crestview defense, pretty stifling. Curious decision in the waiting stages of that second quarter. They had a couple big plays, set them up in pretty nice field position. They could have even at least got a field goal out of a field goal attempt at least, but Chase Miller would throw the interception across his body to Connor Morris.
This is a veteran coaching staff and a team that's 4-1. They've won 4 consecutive games, so it was very interesting to see the clock management and how they handled things there at the end of the second quarter when they were driving down the field. The freshman quarterback, of course, throwing the interception, Chase Miller, that ended the scoring opportunity there for Ottawa Hills. But overall, I felt like this team, just from talking to a couple of coaches and from what I read about them, felt like they were really going to be up against it. Crestview, 5-0, of course. They played some quality competition and beat them all up to this point. But Green Bears hanging around, man. They played pretty good, and I think in particularly on defense, they've showed some life, some energy, and they got a couple of big studs out there, most notably probably A.J. George leading the cause right now.
The defense has been really Ottawa Hill's saving grace so far in the first half. Hayden Kuhn in the passing game couldn't get anything going. The secondary has been all over the wide receivers, and that really has let the defensive line pin their ears back and get to the quarterback. And for Crestview, I think they shot themselves in the foot a few times. They got 5 penalties for 40 yards.
Yeah.
Can't have that, and you said they average 30 a game, so they got to tilt it back a little bit, play their game, and not really force the issue. They got a little cute in the first half with some jet sweeps and some plays that it really isn't them. Get the ball to Connor Morris, get your offensive line out in front, and get some hats on some bodies.
I'm going to take one more commercial break. When we come back, we will break down the playoff picture and the path for the Crestview Cougars, show you what they are looking at as they try to get to 6-0 here on the season with a win over Ottawa Hills.
Lender, craftsman, dog dad. We're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. The personal attention we provide comes from a promise to serve you with respect and compassion. By being responsive to your questions and taking time to understand your needs and goals, we give you more than just a place to bank. That's the more you can expect from Park National Bank. Find John or a banker near you at parknationalbank.com. Park National Bank, where you mean more.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Kissel's Lawncare. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
It's halftime here at Ashland Community Stadium, where Crestview 21 points so far. Ottawa Hills nada after 2 quarters of action. Brian Skoronsky along with Garrett Parlett on the call here for live and free high school football, presented by a bunch of awesome sponsors. I just like to name them real quick, including Park National Bank. Invest with people you know and trust, or bank online anytime at parknationalbank.com. Kissel's Lawncare, spraying and painting. Look them up on Facebook to schedule services. Simonson Construction, from concept to completion, we can help you make a plan, refine your vision, and build a path for success. Sutton Bank, try free checking the pays with Kasasa Cash Checking at suttonbank.com. And Shagley Mechanical, plumbing, heating, and cooling services in the Ashland and surrounding area since 1995. That's pre-Garrett Parlett, so they've been doing it for a long time. All right, let's go ahead and break down the playoff picture for the Crestview Cougars, who are looking to remain undefeated with a win here today. And we broke these down a bit last night on the Friday Night Pigskin. Division 6, Region 22, a lot of good-looking teams in there. But for Crestview, what's most important, and what we discussed a bit on the show, was being in that top 2. Obviously, you get the opening round playoff game, and then you get to avoid tough competition potentially with that second game, where you wouldn't face a really, really good opponent until about the 3rd week of the playoffs, G-Man. So right now the Cougars, they're in a great spot, and a win here today over Ottawa Hills may even vault them to be real close, neck and neck with Archbald for that number 1 spot.
Yeah, and I know Coach Havard and that staff, they want to play a few playoff home games this coming year, and I think winning tonight, you see Gibsonburg, Ottawa Hills lost to Gibsonburg earlier this year, only by 4 points, so they might get some points, get some leeway, and maybe jump over Archbald for the number 1 spot with a win here tonight. But I think a lot of, looking in this Division 6, Region 22, I think a lot of people are thinking about that Crestview Cary rematch. I was at that game last year, and really Cary won the line of scrimmage, and every time we played them, and I played them for 4 years when I was in high school, they won the line of scrimmage every single year. Their guys are ginormous. They're grown men, 6'4", 300 pounds. They're hard to move. But Crestview beat them in the regular season last year, 3-0. That game went, man, I think they started the game at midnight due to lightning. So that could have been a favor in Crestview's win there. They won the playoffs, and Cary really dominated. I believe they won that game 42-14. It really wasn't a contest.
You look at Western Reserve at number 7 on here, a team that Crestview has already defeated on the season. Colonel Crawford at number 9, they just had a really impressive victory over Winford last night. So for the first time in a long, long time, they defeat the Royals in back-to-back seasons, do the Eagles. So this division absolutely loaded, and for Crestview to be in the spot where they're at and potential to be at the number 1, you know, we've given a lot of love to the little engine that could. Number 3, Connor Morris, but rightfully so. Man, what a dynamic playmaker he has been all season long. And you see the rushing leaders in North Central Ohio. This was entering the weekend. A lot of studs up there, but Connor Morris in the mix. He's got over 100 more yards, and depending on what happens in the second half, he could be probably in the number 2 spot when it's all said and done at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's had a big game. The 3 touchdowns going to knock his number up to 17. He might be leading that. I'm not sure what Monkoff got last night, but Dane Nauman, he had a great game. I heard, I believe, over 200 yards. He averages over 200 yards a game, which is pretty special, but Connor Morris, been a special player himself, and he's going to vault himself, see if he can get in that top 3 range.
North Central Ohio leaders right there. A lot of great football action here in the North Central Ohio area. Just a great state for sports in general, but in particular, it's the birthplace of football. We do it pretty well up here, G-Man, and these small schools, I think it's so fun to get the opportunity to follow a team like Crestview on a journey like this when, you know, they graduate the awesome senior class from a season ago, the 4 All-Ohioans, yada, yada, yada. You guys have already heard the story and all the question marks, and they have answered the call so far. And then for Ottawa Hills, you know, a team out of the Toledo area that openly kind of admitted they're like, we kind of do other sports well, or at least more of a priority, stuff like tennis and golf, a little bit more of a country club school. So pretty sweet that this team's off to a 4-1 start, 4 straight wins for them, and coming down here to challenge Crestview, and at times in those first couple of quarters looked pretty good. just got to clean some things up, and we might get a game here in the second half.
I think you have to pay your respects to Ottawa Hills for even picking the game and coming down here. Chris, you needed to find an opponent due to New London not being able to field a team.
Right.
So Ottawa Hills took the challenge, come down here, and man, the scoreboard 21-0, but they have been in this game. The game is closer than people really think it is. Crestview's been shooting themselves in the foot. They got to pick it up, and Ottawa Hills got to get in the end zone and get some points on the board. But heck of a time for Ottawa Hills to come down here and get some points here in the second half.
They did drive into the red zone on 2 different occasions in the first half. On one such occasion, they had the botched snap on the field goal attempt, and then, of course, the interception that ended the drive right there at the end of the second quarter, as Emilio Duran going to tee it up, get set for third quarter action, and the Cougars will get the ball first. So, big drive here for Crestview if they can go on top 28-0, get closer to a running clock. And then for this Ottawa Hills defense, if you can come out here and get a big stop, get some confidence flowing in your direction, get the ball back for your offense, should be an exciting start here to the third quarter.
I really think the Green Bears defense has been doing its job to hold a Crestview team to 21 points in the first half and really limit. They've had a few explosive plays, but other than that, and well, to stop me from talking there, Brian, what a kick from Emilio Duran. I mean, he put that one almost out of the back of the end zone. That is an NFL kick.
You're
Heck
right.
of a leg from the kicker. What a play.
He is one of the stars of the team. Talked about it a bit that the coaching staff are really high on this kid, and you can see why. Duran, just a junior, 6 foot tall as well, booming leg. So the Cougars will set up shop here from their own 20-yard line. Connor Morris so far has delivered all of the offense for the Cougars. 3 times he's been into the end zone. 74-yard touchdown run, a 16-yarder, and then an 18-yarder. And on first down, they do hand it off to number 3, this time stacked up, trying to fight for extra yardage. But Sebastian Stevens able to get him down low, drag him down.
See on the replay, great play from the Ottawa Hills defensive line, standing up, getting their pads lower than Crestview's, and really shutting that run down for a minimal gain of 1 yard.
Twins up to the top of your screen, and it's going to be another handoff. Morris, nice cut inside to evade the defender. And that's going to be enough for Crestview Cougar first down.
Morris plays not only behind his pads and with a lot of power, but, man, he plays with a lot of wiggle, makes defenders miss at the top of the runs right there, and just one cut right in the ground, up the field he goes. Defender trailing him, though, does get the tackle. But as we mentioned, Brian, this Crestview offense has got a really prolific passing game, but they really feed off of Connor Morris. He is a dominant runner in this area and maybe at the top of the list after tonight.
Only about a gain of 2 here on first down. But featuring Morris here to start the third quarter. Didn't have a ton of touches in the first to get his 100 yards, less than 10.
Sure, that yards per carry average is going to go up just a little bit closer to 10 yards after tonight's game.
2nd and 8. Here comes Morris again, left side. And the first guy almost never able to bring down Connor. That was Stevens there. A swing and a miss. And then Morris picked up about 2-3 more yards. 3rd down and 4 on the way here for Hayden Kuhn in this offense.
Be a big stop if the Green Bears can get off the field, get the ball to their offense, and see if they can steal some of this momentum back, as Crestview really has had the hammer on the nail ever since that last touchdown.
Bears going to bring some heat. Kuhn unloads. Smedley dives. Incomplete. Short hopped it. And with 4th down coming up, the Green Bear defense does their job. Going to get the football back for their offense.
That's a big-time stop for Ottawa Hills, getting the ball back to the offense, see if they can get some points. Time is beginning to be a factor, down 21 scores, and at the pace they move the ball at, they got to be almost perfect on each drive they get.
The senior Blake Nepper back deep, standing at his own 31-yard line. Barker boots it, and it's going to be a heck of a punt here. Rolls out of bounds at around the 17, so making it a long field here for the Green Bears offense as they trot out for the first time here in the third quarter.
Talk about the special teams play so far. We're just seeing a huge place kick into the back of the end zone, forcing the touchback, and then Owen Barker showing off the leg of his own, booting that one all the way down to, I believe, the 17-yard line. So Ottawa Hills is going to have a long field here. Slow pace they move at. They got to be perfect on each of these drives and cashing in with 6 points.
What a versatile player Barker is. He's one of the leading receivers on the team from the tight end position, the best sack artist that they have on the squad, the punter as well. He does a bit of everything for the Cougars. First down, toss sweep. Tavdajan wasn't able to find a crease. Cougars snuffed that one out.
There's really no room to run. Slivered through a little hole right there, but the linebacker's just waiting for him. They eat him up at the line of scrimmage. I believe there's no gain on the play. There's going to bring up second and 10.
And again, the Green Bears having Chase Miller go over to the sideline after every play to bring in the play call to the huddle. So it takes him a while. Swing pass out to the far side, and this is going to be dropped for a loss of a couple. It's Isaac again, and the senior just didn't have anywhere to run.
Cougars defense heads are constantly on a swivel. There's 4 or 5 defenders almost each time they make a tackle. They are swarming, and there's really just no room for Ottawa Hills to go. That's heck of a play from the Cougars, getting down there. Addison Raymer making the tackle.
Tough situation here for the Ottawa Hills offense. See if they put it up through the air. Coming out in the wing T flex. And now they will flex out. A couple of receivers, 3 to be exact, 2 to the left side. And wow, everybody in hot pursuit of the quarterback. I'm not even sure who to give that sack to. 4 Crestview players all there to converge for the big loss.
Curious play call right there. They do the rollout to the left, and they go right at Owen Barker. Not the player you want to go out as he just beats the tackle right off the line of scrimmage with the swim move. Whew, just nowhere to go. Rip through move right there from Owen Barker. Tremendous play from him and Gavin Canes. Get back there and get a sack.
Yeah, how about the sophomore? Just dispatching that right guard. No chance. As it's a 3 and out here for the Green Bears. Low snap. Handled, though. Big booming kick. But it's going to go out of bounds. Excellent field position on the way here for Crestview and Hayden Kuhn for their second offensive drive. As we look one more time, it looked like they were trying to set up a slip screen, but at least a couple of guys got to block somebody. Everyone just came bursting through, and I think the couple of linemen that were supposed to hold their block just got beat. Gee, that was all bad.
Yeah, on the screen pass as an offensive lineman, you got to protect for at least 2-3 seconds. You got to be able to sell the play and then get down the field and get some blocks. As Connor Morse here on the run for, I believe, a 4-yard gain, but he was hit at the line of scrimmage, Brian, got through that guy, and then had to have 2 guys bring him down. As you see on the replay, slips through the little gap, keeps those legs churning, gets a 4-yard gain on first down.
More such great acceleration in small windows. He just has nice bursts, always trying to get north and south. Kuhn from the gun gives it to Morris. Hit down low by George. Only a gain of a couple here. So third down. Crestview needs the 30 to move the chains.
50-50 winning number 923-436.
Like to say what up to everybody watching out in Facebook land too, and drop us a comment. Let us know about where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. If you got a little nugget of information about one of these players out here, we want to know it all. As Morris burst through there. Thought he might get dropped in the backfield, was able to evade a couple of would-be tacklers, pick up a big first down, 5-yard gain there on third. But yeah, drop us a comment, and we just might share it on today's Fan Zone. Do you see Kimberly Hunt says, let's go Cougars here in this third quarter? We need more, folks. Keep them coming. Stacked up at the line. Bolin on the carry that time. And then George back in on another tackle. I mean, he is a busy middle linebacker.
He's a busy player on both sides of the ball. He's really been Ottawa Hills' offense when they do make those big plays, and then on defense, when they need big plays, A.J. George is the one usually getting the hat on the ball.
Quick throw to the far sideline. Smedley makes the grab. Doesn't go very far, though. Teddy Zapersky there to make the stop.
It's one of those plays where it's really an extension of the run game. Got the corner playing a couple yards off. Get a quick hitch out there to Gabe Smedley. See what he can do. See if he makes a few defenders miss. Great tackling right there, though, from the Ottawa Hills defense.
Cougars break the huddle with 2 wide. Raymer up to the top of your screen. Quick snap. And it's going to be a false start. So the penalties accumulating here for Crestview, something that they've done such a great job of so far on the season, limiting themselves and this aspect of the game. Just having a tough afternoon so far with the penalties.
I can say it's not going to be a pretty week at practice for this Crestview team with the penalties. Not what you want to do against some better competition. This may come back to hurt them if they convert this many penalties. So got to hone in and wrap those up and not convert so many.
There's a look at Devin Holloway, the kicker here for the Cougars. Getting ready as Kuhn just going to air this thing out. It's nearly going to be intercepted, but this should draw a penalty. Clearly there, Caden Coy impeded the intended target, Gabe Smedley, from coming back to the football.
Hayden Kuhn had, I believe, 3 or 4 defensive linemen in the backfield ready to sack him, and that's a tough throw, man. I'm not sure if Hayden Kuhn would throw that one if he had it back. Might want to just pull that one down and run, throw it out of bounds. But Gabe Smedley makes a great play on the ball. Defender doesn't get his head around. Going to call that PI 9 times out of 10. So Crestview setting up here with some nice field position to get their fourth score of the game.
Here's another look. Yeah, you see 2 guys barreling down on Kuhn and Smedley trying to come back to the football, and that's what you want from your wide receiver. You got to go fight for that thing. Sometimes interceptions can be the wide receiver's fault. As this one's thrown behind the line, I believe that's a open ball, or at least should be.
That should definitely be a fumble.
Yeah, I think this is going to be Ottawa Hills football. Two officials are signaling incomplete. We've got the replay. We can show them the video evidence. I think they're wrong.
100.
Wow, not even close. That's at least a full yard, I think, behind Kuhn. So the Cougars catch a break here. Let's see where Hayden is. He's at the 23.
He catches. Yeah.
That's at the 24.
Definitely should have been a fumble call. See if Cougars can get something out of it instead.
Morris looked like he took a big step up over the defender. I'd like to see that one again. Nothing too crazy, but Connor, with that move, getting probably an extra 2 yards on the play, will make it 3rd down 7 from the 14. Crestview can still move the chains inside of the 8. As they come out with a twins look, both receivers to Kuhn's right. He looking that way, all the way, and then fires. Smedley, end zone, touchdown.
Wow, what a pass. Ripped it right over the middle to Gabe Smedley. And strong hands from Smedley flexing on the defender as we speak. But heck of a catch. Grip strength right there shown off when Smedley hanging on. Defender was right there to swipe the ball away. Didn't matter. As here is the replay. Hayden Kuhn rips this over the middle too. That's a tough throw on the run. Got to make that one right on the money. Defender swiping the ball. Doesn't matter. Touchdown Cougars.
Pretty good coverage on the play there for Tavdijan. But just even better pass and catch for Crestview. And the PAT is up and through, so 28-0 now is the Cougar lead. And beating the defense in a new way. It's been Connor Morris pretty much all game, the effective player. The passing game starting to get going now. Fourth time this season that Gabe Smedley has gotten into the end zone. And that's what the Cougars are going to need. If they want to be an elite team, they have to be able to use the run game to set up the pass. And you saw there Hayden Kuhn doing an exceptional job of putting the ball where it needed to be. Smedley, those strong hands, as you alluded to, G-Man. You just got to be able to snatch it out of the air, hang on to that puppy. That's exactly what Gabe did.
I think the story of today's game so far, it hasn't been bad execution from the Cougars passing game. I think it's an indictment to Ottawa Hills defense, man. Their secondary they've been really clamping stuff up, and even on that touchdown pass, defender was right there to swipe the ball away, just maybe a hair late. So Ottawa Hills, they're really holding their own in the secondary. Now the run game, so far they've been really getting gashed by Connor Morris and the Crestview moving company.
Cougars look like they're going to be moving to 6-0 with another victory here today. Whistle's going to stop this thing dead. Looked like the referee was pointing in the Green Bears' direction.
I'm not sure what the call is going to be here, Brian. Maybe a sideline warning? Too many men on the field, maybe?
Well, the head official's writing something down. I wish he would share with me his thoughts. Here we go. I don't know what that is. Sorry, folks. Like I want to be better at my job.
I thought I heard him say illegal motion, but that doesn't make any sense. So
I think
we got unsportsmanlike.
Okay.
Unsportsmanlike.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure the Green Bears can be moving wherever they
Yeah.
want. Nobody has to be
Right.
set just as long as they're 10 yards away from the football. So with Devin Holloway here kicking from the 45-yard line,
You might be able to make this through the upright.
he definitely will have the leg strength for that. Probably what you want to do, angle this baby a little bit towards a corner, get some nice high arc under it, and let your speedy special teams guys on the outside run down, make a tackle. Instead, they're just going to onside kick it. It's going to bounce off of an Ottawa Hills player. Crestview recovers at the 35. The offense back in business.
Tremendous play from the special teams and kicker Devin Holloway. Placed that one perfectly, bounced right off the Ottawa Hills player's chest. And Crest is going to recover and set themselves up in business to see if they can get a running clock here on the next touchdown.
Another look on the Sutton Bank replay. Holloway angled it pretty perfectly there. Right at Ashim DeCall. And the 5'7" senior couldn't handle it. A little bit too much smoke behind that one from Devin. And it turns out to be a turnover. Crestview back with the football, and Morris jumping his way for a gain of about 4.
Morris makes these plays look pretty routine, but he hurdled a defender on the ground, cut right up the hole. Man, if he didn't get hit, we could be off to the races, and that could have been a touchdown.
Cougars quickly out of the huddle. 2 back set, and they'll hand it off here to Bolin. Driven backwards after a gain of 3. So it'll be 2nd down and 2 coming up here for the Cougs. George with yet another tackle. He's got to be double digits here today. Number 13 in the white uniform. having a quality performance on both sides of the football. Looks like Moore's going to be just about a yard shy here.
Sure, Crestview going to roll with sticking the offense on the field. See if they can pick up this conversion and really put the nail in the coffin here if they can get some points on this drive.
Any score for the Cougars would make this a running clock. 30-point differential at least. And depending on how much you trust Kuhn and Smedley, probably the smart plays to put on the ground, but Morris has nowhere to run. Hit by a couple of guys. Luke Nepper was the first to make contact. He's fired up as they've made a big stop. I was just going to say, they certainly had one-on-one coverage with Gabe Smedley. Maybe take a shot instead. Probably just a smart play, give it to Morris. But the Green Bears were ready for it. They blitzed everybody.
Big time play right there from the Green Bears defense, and they're fired up. They got a little bit of momentum. Let's see if they can switch over to the offensive side and get this side of the ball going, because so far Crestview's defense really in the second half hasn't let the Green Bears do anything. Ottawa Hills had a few good moments in the first half. They had the last of the drive before halftime. They were in scoring position but ended up throwing a pick. Let's see if they can make out ends meet here on the turnover on downs from Crestview.
Tapped it into the outside. Limited on the carry. So the Crestview defense doing what they've been doing all day. Limiting the running space for these ball carriers. Got to give some love to the Cougars linebackers. You know, that this is not an easy formation to line up against. You mentioned that they at least get to see Plymouth once a year. One of the few teams left in the entire country that still runs this wing T flex. Such an old school approach to the modern game of football. And it looks like Ottawa Hills actually going to spread it out here. Flag flies immediately, blowing this play dead before it had a chance to start. And false start against the Green Bears.
Not doing any favors for Ottawa. Hills now it's going to be 2nd down and 12 for the Green Bears. Not an ideal situation for this kind of offense that wants to get those easy yards, those methodical drives down the field, 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. Now it looks like they might try to pass the ball and see if they can get a first down here.
See, we've got Laura Siebert watching Connor Morris, her grandson, and this awesome team. As they set up the screenplay, lots of open field space in front for Perzek. Taking it into Cougar territory before Morris able to upend him. Huge gain there, about 35 yards.
They've ran that play 3 or 4 times tonight, Brian, and finally they got the big gainer right here. Beautiful play from Chase Miller to disguise the play, gets it out to his receiver, and he does the rest. Wasn't able to outrun the defenders, couldn't unhook the trailer. Connor Morris would catch up to him and knock him down, but big play for this Ottawa Hills offense.
I'd like to thank Steve Haynes for watching the Cougars all the way from Plano, Texas. He and Linda, as they toss it here to Nepper. Met almost instantly. Dropped down at the line of scrimmage. Brett Moust, let's go Cougars. Jory Hollenbeck, watching from Mansfield, Ohio, loves her some OH Report live and free. But that's the end of the third quarter, folks. Hey, we'll be right back, though. Fourth quarter action on the way.
Lender, Craftsman, Dog Dead. We're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. The personal attention we provide comes from a promise to serve you with respect and compassion. By being responsive to your questions and taking time to understand your needs and goals, we give you more than just a place to bank. That's the more you can expect from Park National Bank. Find John or a banker near you at parknationalbank.com. Park National Bank, where you mean more.
Money time has arrived here on the OH Report. Fourth quarter action underway, and it begins with A.J. George on a toss sweep, evading about 5 different kids in black jerseys. Big burst to the outside. Ottawa Hills looking to get in business, and they will be 33-yard scamper. Looked like he was going to be dead to rights. The Cougars couldn't corral him, and then the senior able to break loose. Huge play right there.
A.J. George on the jet sweep. You never want to reverse field, but this kind of athlete, man, he gets it done. A nice block from Chase Miller right there. The QB low on his shoulder. And A.J. George, man, takes it for a big gain for the Green Bears down in a Crestview territory in the red zone.
Such a dangerous athlete. About 5 different Crestview players had a shot at him, and it would have been for a loss of about 3-4 yards. Instead, the huge burst, and this is as close to pay dirt as Ottawa Hills has been all game long. Toss sweep into the teeth of the defense. Blake Nepper gets him about a yard, maybe 2 closer, as it's a goal-to-go situation here for the Green Bears.
This would be some big points for Ottawa Hills. Maybe not to put you back into the game, but just moving forward. Got Cardinal Schrich on the schedule, and then Monteplier. I believe Monteplier is also 0-6. So
wow.
some wins that they can pick up on the schedule, Ottawa Hills, but get some momentum and get some confidence back in the kids.
Yeah, there's definitely probably going to be a playoff team, no question about it, with the 16-team format. So a lot still ahead of them in the Toledo Area Athletic Conference. And even though the competition hasn't been great, even against Gibsonburg, who just suffered their first defeat of the season, they were in that one until the final minutes of the game. 14-10 was the final score of that one. They've handled the competition with the exception of that. Margaretta, they needed overtime for the win. But last week, coming off a big 49-0 beatdown of Hilltop. So this is a team that has showcased that they got potential on both sides of the football. Cougars been a little bit better in just about every area here tonight. And these are the little mistakes that typically are the difference in being close at the end or losing by a wide margin. A false start here. Chase Miller and company backing up 5 yards, going to make this third down conversion a little bit more challenging here.
Well, I think even today, Ottawa Hills, as they've really hung around with Crestview, a 5-0 team, that they've had some pretty big wins on their schedule. So it was 21-0 at half, and they had an opportunity to cut it to 14 points. Couldn't convert, obviously. They got to get it in the end zone here, get some points on the board, and make this a 21-point deficit.
But you know that they're going to take their time to do it. I don't think they're going to get this off. Play clock down to 3. They do just at the horn. Miller puts it up. Incomplete knockdown intended for George, the leading wideout. Coverage on the play made by the speedster, Tanner Moore.
Really, that's a big hit, too. When you can't get out of the huddle and you got to sprint up to the line, get the offensive line set, then the quarterback's got to worry about the wide receivers getting set with only 3 seconds remaining. And you're really just under pressure. There's too much going on. You got to get out of the huddle faster than that. You typically want to get out of there with about 15 seconds so you can go up there, relax, get set, and then get the play off.
And they've had so much success this season that it's tough to question what they've been doing, but you're 100% right. If you're, in particular, a freshman quarterback, when you break the huddle, you're going to want bare minimum 10 seconds to look around. Maybe you're not changing the play call, but you want to see the pre-snap setup of the defense.
Right.
And every single time that they are getting up to the line of scrimmage, they're under 10 seconds left on the play clock, so it's, rush time. They're just trying to get the snap.
Right, and it's typically more towards 5 seconds. When they're getting up there, the play clock is already almost completely out. Quarterback's got to worry about not only watching the defenders and reading the play, he's got to get everybody else set, make sure they're set before he hikes the ball, and it's usually been resulting in false starts penalty, as we just seen a couple plays before.
Super exciting, though, for Ottawa Hills to be at this position, 4-1 at the midway point of the season with a freshman quarterback who can continue to develop. You know that you get him for at least 3 more seasons. And on 4th down here, looks like the Green Bears just going to try to get some points on the board. Can we see Duran with the kick? They're going to need a clean snap. They'll get one. And here is Emilio ending the scoreless drought here for the Bears. So on the board, 28-3, trimming things down. The only thing I don't like about that, G-Man, is that you've changed nothing. It's still a 4-score game.
You're exactly right, and I think at this point in the game, it's already out of reach. 9 minutes remaining. You're down 28 points. I mean, what are you losing by going forward on 4th down and not getting it? You have 3 points on the board.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Right.
Are you playing to get out of here? Hey, we didn't get shut out by a good team? Or are you playing to get some dubs?
Well, so far, Brian, I'm not sure with that call. I mean, I would go for it on 4th down. Obviously, 4th and 12, the odds aren't in your favor, but you have to at this point. You're down 28 points. You got to get moving if you want any chance in this game.
It's been a unique game, basically from start to finish so far for Ottawa Hills from what we've seen. And I don't know if they do point spreads at the high school level, but our producer thinking, maybe just trying to cover, maybe a big bet by one of the assistant coaches or something. We don't know the technicalities out here. What we do know for sure, though, is that the kicker, Emilio Duran, he's the real deal.
Yeah, that was good. That would have been good from probably another 30 yards out. I mean, he's got a heck of a leg. Seeing him in pregame making 55-yard field goals, and that is unbelievable at the high school level. I'm sure he has got a few colleges looking at him, and that is beautiful right through the uprights for the 3 points.
Duran to kick it deep. And this one will sail into the end zone yet again, so he's had 2 opportunities for a kickoff, both times. No return by Crestview. And for the Cougars offense, chance to run some more time off the clock here. Perhaps a little bit of momentum here for Ottawa Hills. We'll see how jacked up they come out and play D. Two back set, and they'll hand it off. Looked like maybe a face mask, but no flag came in off the stop there of Gage Bloodhart.
Looks like Coach Haverdells took a few of the starters out. Didn't see Connor Morse in on that play. Maybe electing to go the safe route, try to get out of here with the win. No injuries so far, but Addison Raymer will check in for the Cougars.
I think that's kind of been the key so far for Crestview, too. It's rare that you would be at this point in the season and not have very many setbacks in terms of injuries. It's a collision sport. It's a tough physical game, and so far, I think Crestview's been at pretty much full capacity for every single week.
Yeah, they haven't had many major injuries, at least. I'm sure they've got a few nicks and bruises, but nothing that's going to set any of these guys back. And so far, man, their season has been perfection. Looking to continue it heading into Week 6. I believe they'll be the only undefeated team, Brian, in the area if they do end up holding on to this one in Week 6.
With the Lucas Cubs going down last night at home, you are correct. Crestview would be the last team in the conferences that we cover. Excuse me, I'm sorry. K-Mac Trav would be kicking us right now. How about those Golden Knights of Northmore?
Should have known better.
He's probably waving his hands at the TV right now. Guaranteed. Big throw and just out of reach for Owen Barker, who laid out for that thing. So it's going to be a 3-and-out for the Cougars offense here. And, I hate to say don't get too cute because they're winning every single game on top 28-3. But why not just run it a few times in a row?
Style points, Brian. They're trying to look nice. I agree, though. I definitely agree with you. Trying to churn out some of this clock, but took a shot play. Trying to get the first down, maybe trying to suck the life out of Ottawa Hills that they got, but
that's a good point. kind of break the levee.
Yeah.
It's going to be instead a short punt that's going to backtrack all the way into Crestview territory. Touchdown by Sean Bailey, but at the 49-yard line. Well, the official's going to put it actually exactly at midfield. So just 50 yards of green in between the Green Bears and the end zone. So an opportunity for them. Try to cut into this deficit. Just want to let Laura know that, hey, we're happy that we could bring this to you live and free so that you could watch Connor Morris play today, and he has been exceptional. Proud grandparents also, Patty of Noah Stewart, watching from Pennsylvania. Happy to have you both tuning into the broadcast here, watching your grandchildren ball out. 2-yard loss on the first play of this drive, as Pillarelli swallowed up Barker. Has been a menace all season long, and he did everything that you can ask of your defensive end on that one.
Yeah, got up the field, got the defender down with ease, and Crestview obviously haven't played their best ball game here tonight. Obviously still up 25 points, but I'm sure there's a few things they want to improve on, cut down the penalties. The offense has really looked a step slow tonight. Not sure if that's a credit to Ottawa Hills defense, as I've mentioned. So have you, Brian, throughout the whole entire broadcast. They really have been sticky in coverage, and they've had a few good plays. But here's Ottawa Hills on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to get a big run and a first down.
Nepper moving the chains, getting inside of the 40. And this is best case scenario with this wing T flex offense that they run, is that you hope that you're just wearing on the opponent throughout the night, and that eventually you'll find the creases, get big runs like we just saw there from Nepper.
Seen Connor Morris was down on that play. I think he got back up and right back into the huddle on the defensive side of the ball. So big scare for Cougar Country. Got to keep that guy healthy.
Inside give here. Parazek, the fullback, finding some space to the outside. He sprints for a gain of about 18.
So Ottawa Hills, Brian, here running the ball pretty effectively here on this drive. It's just fullback give right up the middle. And big time play from the fullback as they move the chains once again. 7 minutes left. If they get going, man, you never know. Never say never.
Maybe we'll see another Duran field goal attempt. That has been all the offense here. Counter play, inside give, Nepper. Gets Duran a little bit closer.
I've been watching the play clock, Brian, on this drive, and they have been getting out of the huddle a little bit better on this drive. I believe on the last play they got out of there with 15 seconds, so maybe they got somebody over there listening to the broadcast letting them know the guys aren't happy up top, getting out of the play clock a little too late. But so far, 20 seconds, man, this is exactly what you want to be in.
You're right. This is a much better place for Chase Miller to be because, look, now he can observe the defense, take the snap with about 12 seconds remaining. Another nice toss play ends with Nepper inching his way for, I believe, first down yardage. He's going to be real close down on the far sideline right now. Shaking up a little bit, but popped right up. And knocking on the door here. I think they're about a half yard short, so it should be third down and a couple of feet. And Ottawa Hills, again, knocking on the door. They've been down here in the red zone. This is the fourth time, and they've only come away with 3 points. So you do have to show some love to the Cougars defense for the old adage is, bend but don't break. They've done that on a few different occasions so far tonight in this ballgame.
They've only allowed 66 points all year through 5 weeks coming into tonight, and only 3 points are going to be added unless Ottawa Hills can get something going. They desperately need a touchdown to build some confidence and get some momentum.
Direct snap into the hands of George. Coming near side, cuts upfield. Throws a 6 stiff arm reaching for the end zone, and the ball knocked out of bounds. But that's just a spectacular individual effort by number 13. Tough running to the outside. This was pretty.
Crazy play right here from A.J. Rose. Bowls over the defender, throws the defender in the dirt, and heck of a hit right there from Gavin Keynes, knocking the ball out. And that would have been an awful turn of events if that ball would have rolled into the end zone, Brian, and went out of bounds. Would have been Crestview ball.
Instead, it's going to be 1st and goal from inside the 2. Miller under center brings a man in motion. They're going to toss it, and how about Morris converging along with Barker and company to stack up the ball carrier. Looked like there was a hole there initially, and then Morris, look at him, boom, comes bursting up there. Pretty sure tackler.
I mean, that's almost perfect form tackling right there, getting your head around, grabbing the leg, and then driving your feet and driving the defender into the ground. Perfect play from Connor Morris to get the stop for the Cougars. I'm sure they're not one to put up, they're not one Ottawa Hills to get in the end zone. They're going to play with some pride here and play stingy.
Play clock down to 5. Miller motions a man, and again they toss it near side. Flag is thrown. Looked like a face mask, maybe even on the ball carrier. Pillarelli might have got a handful there of Addison Raymer's face mask. Or maybe vice versa. It's going to go against Raymer.
Big story here tonight for Crestview has been the penalties. They had 5 in the first half. They've had a couple here in the second half. And usually a team that doesn't cause this many penalties on themselves, it's only hurting themselves. But so far they've been able to overcome that and still have that 25-point advantage.
So the face mask doesn't make that big of a difference. It does allow the Green Bears to redo second down here from the 3-yard line, though. And just know where to run inside. Porozek, the fullback, right into the teeth of the defense in the interior line for the Cougars. Look at that drive, pushing everyone back about 3-4 yards. And we've got an injured player down on the field for Ottawa Hills, and that's been a problem for him this year. I mean, they've got 6 guys out that have been contributors for him throughout the year, including Sam McCaffrey, who I'm told is the biggest loss for them, an all-league performer at running back and defensive back from a season ago, unavailable today. So, you know, that's one aspect of football that can really kill you if you got a ton of talent, but you're unhealthy in terms of injuries. It can be such a killer. So that's something that Crestview has not had to deal with this season. So sometimes you got to give a lot of love to the training staff and just the players in general for taking care of themselves and staying healthy. Just unfortunate any time you would have a guy go down with an injury, but Sean Brandt looks like he's up and going to be okay.
It's one of the aspects of football, you know, that really sucks is those injuries you really can't. It's a physical sport, and they're going to come, but just got to get, you know, in the training staff and get to them and do what you're supposed to do to get back on the field.
Cougars looking to hold Ottawa Hills out of the end zone. 3rd down and 2 on the way. They've got George lined up in the Wildcat. And a false start. So a bad penalty here for the Green Bears, going to back them up to the 7-yard line. And that's the risk you run sometimes, taking the quarterback out of the equation, having a running back do the cadence. Another penalty for the Green Bears. Backs them up here as Chase Miller back into the game under center. And a good look at the Cougars coaching staff led by Steve Haverdell. Could be the Firelands Conference Coach of the Year this season. As we get a timeout on the field taken by Ottawa Hills. And let's go ahead and look ahead real quick at what's coming up for the Crestview Cougars. Next week, they're going to be on the road at South Central, a team that's got a couple of wins but a lot of firepower, one of the more dynamic passing offenses that we have here in the area. Then they return home for the two big ones, back-to-back weeks. They'll host Plymouth on October the 8th, and then Norwalk St. Paul comes over to their place. They're still undefeated on the season. They seem to always be year in and year out. That's the one that probably could determine the outcome of the Firelands Conference in Week 9. Two big games.
Obviously got to go 1 week at a time, but I know these guys, that's in the back of their mind. That's St. Paul week, especially because that could be the home opener at the turf at Crestview High School at Scott Bailey Memorial Field. But, you know, you can't overlook Plymouth. You know, going into next week, obviously can't overlook South Central either. As you mentioned, they got a lot of firepower with Mitchell behind center. Heck of a QB, arm talent too. But you can't overlook Plymouth. They hung with St. Paul, and I believe St. Paul had to come back in the fourth quarter to beat them. So can't overlook Plymouth, and obviously St. Paul. It's going to be a tough game if they can survive Plymouth. Move on to St. Paul for a Firelands Conference championship.
Coming back with the Wildcat look yet again here. George, sweep to the right side, and he's going to get in there. A.J. George with the 7-yard scamper.
It seems as if their big plays have always came from A.J. George here today. Not sure why they didn't go to him a little bit earlier in the game, get him on the outside and see if he can get a few more tutties, but right there, untouched. Beautiful blocking from the wide receiver in the end zone as he's going to walk in unscathed for 6 points. Pending the PAT, could cut this one 18.
Durant out there for the point after. And they will trim the deficit down to 28-10. So now it becomes interesting in terms of the onside kick situation. Just one timeout still available for Ottawa Hills after this touchdown run for A.J. George. Probably do got to onside it at this point. Just see if you can't try to get possession back right away.
Yeah, you give Crestview the ball back, they get a first down, the game's practically over. They can really just run the ball and then knee it out. So I think down 18 points, you got to hope for a miracle and get those onside kicks. But we've seen it before, even here tonight. Crestview had themselves an onside kick. Let's see if Ottawa Hills can replicate it and get them one themselves.
So things tightening up here down the stretch as the last 10 points all belonging to Ottawa Hills. Cougars don't appear to have their hands team out on the field. Playing with just 5 up men. Let's see what the Green Bears have up their sleeve here. At least for right now, Duran setting up as though he's going to kick it deep. And it is going to be an onside kick to the right side. But the Cougars handle it. Played well right there by Bloodhart. Come up, make the catch, and just got down immediately.
One first down should really be all she wrote if Crestview can do so and really pound this clock out and walk out of the stadium with a win.
Mind you folks to stick around for the Simonson Construction postgame, which will include an interview with our player of the game. I mean, it's hard not to give it to Connor Morris, especially the work that he did in the first half.
I mean, look at this play right here. Heck of an effort right there from Morris. Was stopped in the backfield, made it 3 or 4 Ottawa Hills defenders miss, but there's going to be a flag. And typically on those plays like that, offensive line likes to grab a little bit. That might be a hold call on the Crestview Cougars offensive line, which isn't going to help, but it's going to be a face mask on the defense. So helping Crestview out a little bit.
Just have to see if it's of the 5 or 15-yard variety. Looks like just a small one. Just a normal face mask. So it sets the Cougars up now in Green Bear territory. Just looking to run out the clock. As on first down, they hand it off left side. Wade Bolin bowls his way through, and he is going to goes 47 yards to the house. It looked like the Bears had him stopped, but nah, the second effort strong for number 13.
You don't see those kind of moves out of a fullback. Wade Bolin right there with the beautiful moves, getting past multiple defenders. Looked like he was stopped. Makes one defender miss, a couple right there, squeezes in between the tackles, and he is off to the races. Beautiful block downfield from Gabe Smedley. And Wade Bolin's going to walk in this one in for a touchdown, which helps this Crestview crowd a little bit. Might not be a little bit more nervous anymore. You know, they got a little bit more life, but the 34 points pinning 35.
Cougars averaging 39.5 points per game, so this gets them 1 point closer now at 35-10 is the count. And one more look, bowling his way through the middle. And then having the speed, as you mentioned, for a fullback, typically you can't outrun these defensive backs, but look at him put his head down like he's a track star.
He knew.
Inching forward for that tape.
Man, he wanted that one too. Fullbacks don't usually get those big, long touchdown runs. They usually get the nitty-gritty 2-yard, 4th and inches type runs, but right there, Wade Bolin doing it himself, making multiple Ottawa Hills defenders miss into the back of the end zone.
And that's his first taste of pay dirt this season. First trip into the end zone for Wade Bolin this year, so congratulations for finally getting into the end zone. Just a sophomore, too. Good-sized player for a sophomore, listed at 6 foot, 205 pounds.
Play with his older brother, Will, who is also a fullback. Those Bolins, man, big guys. Wade Bolin, following his brother's footsteps in the Crestview football program, gets his first touchdown as a sophomore. Shout out to him. Not a lot of people get to taste pay dirt, and it's a pretty big accomplishment.
One more look at the Bolin 47-yard run. So it takes the Crestview offense just 30 seconds to respond to the TD by George.
Number 22, the ball carrier on that kick return. Tackled on the play by
Reddick Perilli, the freshman here with the return. And I believe I was told no JV team, so that's why you see there's a lot of freshmen and sophomores that are playing for Ottawa Hills. Smaller school up in the Toledo area. I believe less than 40 guys on the roster for them.
Start a freshman QB, too. Typically, you can always tell from the QB experience if they're a young team or not. And Chase Miller had a few mistakes today, but I thought he's played pretty solid against a very tough Crestview team. This Crestview team is a very solid team, and a lot of people are picking them to go pretty deep in the playoffs. And here in the second half, they've had some flashes of being a pretty good team.
Prozik with the carry on first down. And got exactly what he needed for a fresh set. They'll move the chains. First down from the 39. Inside give to the fullback. Hard running. Jack Perozik again.
Noticing Connor Morse not on the field. Seen him limping on the sideline, so I think it might be one of those stingers, you know, that just really won't go away until after the game. And looks like he's walking okay right now, but definitely don't want to risk anything. You don't want to put him out there, put him in harm's way, and let this clock run out and get out of here with a win.
And I'm told there's 51 steps here at Ashland Community Stadium, so maybe our camera guy Storm can give him a piggyback right up here for that post-game interview. We don't really want to put Connor out Don't want to stress him any more than he already has put on himself. Done a lot of work today.
Well, I think I'd rather have Connor Morse walk. I think his chances might be better than even Storm walking up here himself.
Good point.
Storm obviously a bigger guy, so he might have some problems getting up here himself. Might need an oxygen tank once he gets up here.
There's a good look at Coach Haverdill having a moment with Connor. And it's I think pretty hard to overstate what kind of year Connor Morris is having. From his defensive back spot, he leads this team in tackles. He clearly is the top dog in the running game. He's done some nice things too, catching the football out of the backfield. 5 catches on the season. Connor Morris, I believe, was your midway point of the regular season MVP, correct?
Yeah, I definitely think he is, and he's even impressed me a little bit more tonight. He's done it a little bit more on the defensive end. He had a few big runs, had the 3 touchdowns, obviously, and I'm understating those touchdowns. It's just like every time I go to the game, he's always scoring. So he's had a big game here today, and he does it so nonchalantly. As soon as he scores, man, he's giving the ball right back to the ref. We talked to him in our post-game interview. He's a very quiet kid, but his on the field presence and his game man speaks loudly at him.
3 more touchdowns for Connor tonight. 17 trips into the end zone on the season for him. And going over 100 yards yet again. Believe probably in the top 3 in North Central Ohio in terms of rushing yards now, and might be the top dog for touchdowns. Real close if he's not.
Should definitely be up there, at least 1 or 2 for TDs, possibly even for rushing. I noticed Neith Donaldson was, I believe, 3rd on that list. He had a good game receiving last night against Clear Fork, but don't think he had a lot of rushing yards, so he's going to drop a few spots, and I might catapult Connor Morse up to the top.
Timeout taken by Ottawa Hills with just under a minute to go. Facing a 4th down and 5. So looking to dial up a play that they can get the first down yardage. Though it looks like their 4-game win streak going to come to a close here tonight at the hands of the Cougars, who will move to 6-0 on the season with some big games coming up in the Firelands Conference. As mentioned, South Central next week, and then those back-to-back home battles with Plymouth and Norwalk St. Paul in weeks 8 and 9. Both potentially could be at Crestview's new stadium. I know that they are at least saying for sure the St. Paul game, that's going down on the new turf.
And I think a big takeaway from those back-to-back games, they're both physical teams, Plymouth and St. Paul. You got to come out of those games unscathed from injuries. They both run that wing-style offense, just like we're watching here tonight from Ottawa Hills. The close splits, running backs getting the handoffs with misdirection in the backfield. So it's going to be 2 tough game plans for Coach Haverdill to scheme up for this defense, but I think everybody's got faith in him from Cougar Nation.
On 4th down, Miller just hands off up the gut. They flanked a couple of guys, motioned out wide, a little bit of eye candy, but the Cougars are not fooled. Inside give to Perozic, only goes for a couple. Turnover on downs, and that is going to seal the deal for Crestview here at Ashland Community Stadium. 35-10 is going to be the final score after Hayden Kuhn drops down a couple of knees. No more satisfying formation than this right here, folks. The victory formation. Crestview, probably the best story that we have in North Central Ohio this year. One of only 2 undefeated teams in the area. Had some guys that didn't get a ton of playing time last couple of years stepping up, becoming some nice football players.
It's crazy to lose 4 All-Ohioans and replace it with a season like this so far, 6-0. I thought I was a good player, and I was all-conference. I couldn't tell you how great of players Crestview lost last year. 4 All-Ohioans, best players in the state of Ohio, not only just this area, but crazy players and crazy athletes they lost, and right now they're replicating some insane performances. 35-10 today over Ottawa Hills, making them 6-0 through 6 weeks.
So the Cougars and the Green Bears going to shake it up after a hard-fought game that is going to end right now officially in the books. Crestview a winner. They will move to 6-0. We'll talk more about that in our Simonson construction postgame, and then also have an interview on the way with Connor Morris, our MVP, presented by Kissel's Spraying, Painting, and Lawn Care. So keep it here. The post game will return in just a couple of minutes on the OH Report.
Lender, craftsman, dog dad. We're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. The personal attention we provide comes from a promise to serve you with respect and compassion. By being responsive to your questions and taking time to understand your needs and goals, we give you more than just a place to bank. That's the more you can expect from Park National Bank. Find John or a banker near you at parknationalbank.com. Park National Bank, where you mean more.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Kissel's Lawncare. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
now back with our player of the game, presented by Kissel's Lawncare, spraying, painting, snow plowing, and pretty much everything. They do it all, and so does this gentleman, our MVP of the night, Connor Morris. Exceptional game for you once again, buddy. Another week, another MVP performance on the OH Report. Tell me about tonight's game and that first half in particular, where you set the tone with the 3 rushing touchdowns and also came up with a big interception at the end of the half. Just describe your performance to me.
I feel I just went out there, played my game, and all just unfolded into the perfect spots. The line opened up every hole. I just find the holes and just did my thing.
You guys have a really explosive running attack. Tell me about how much of that is the offensive line creating the holes for you that you were able to burst through.
Yeah, the offensive line is phenomenal. They make the holes, they're aggressive, they're fast, and it all forms so nicely for me to run.
You make a lot of tough plays look really routine in the running game, in particular the way that you hurdle over people. How would you describe your running style and ability to me? Put it in some words for me.
I have no idea. I find the holes and I don't even think about what I do. It's all instinct and it happens when it happens.
So for you guys, 6-0 now at this point in the season. Obviously, you got to be happy with that. Collectively, what do you think has led to the success here on the season? Because you do nice things on both sides of the football.
Just a lot of the doubters and just the hard work we put in. Every single practice we bring it all, and we put it all on the table, and that's what's helping us succeed. So
you guys, you're the type of unit, you're fueled by some of that stuff. You know, hearing the doubters, reading some of the newspaper articles, other people maybe picking against you. You guys love that stuff on this team.
We don't want the bandwagon. We want the doubters. So keep doubting us, please.
Love it, man. Well, moving forward, you guys dive back into conference play over the next 4 weeks. You got some big challenges on the way. How excited are you to keep taking on these different challenges, and in particular the fact that you get to actually go home here, I think, in a couple of weeks and play at the friendly confines over there in Olivesburg?
You know, I'm just really excited. Every week of football is definitely a blessing, and playing on the turf is really I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be packed. I'm just excited for some Friday night lights.
And for you, how much fun is the game of football? It's another week here on the OH Report, and then another MVP performance for you. I imagine you got to be having a great time out there. It's fun getting the wins, but when you're a big part of it, man, it really sets the whole thing off.
Yeah, it's just really fun with the boys out there and just having fun, tossing the pigskin. It's all I don't know. I don't really take it as a game. I take it just fun with the friends and stuff.
Well, fun with the friends led you to 6-0, another victory here tonight. We saw that your grandparents were watching on the live stream. Is there anybody else that you want to shout out, give some love to anybody from Cougar Nation?
Shout out to everyone. Thanks for watching.
All right, Connor Morris, our player of the game, presented by Kissel's Lawncare, Spraying and Painting. We'll take a timeout. We will be back with final stats here at Ashland Community Stadium.
Lender, craftsman, dog dead. We're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. The personal attention we provide comes from a promise to serve you with respect and compassion. By being responsive to your questions and taking time to understand your needs and goals, we give you more than just a place to bank. That's the more you can expect from Park National Bank. Find John or a banker near you at parknationalbank.com. Park National Bank, where you mean more.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Kissel's Lawncare. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
35-10 the final score here at Ashland Community Stadium, with the Crestview Cougars remaining undefeated on the year. They end the Green Bears' 4-game win streak with a 25-point victory. Brian Skronsky, Garrett Parlett with you here on the Simonson Construction post-game, bringing you the final stats here of the evening that are going to tell you the story. A lot of rush yards again for Crestview. That's how they've been getting it done so far on the year. And then 2 takeaways, and they were clean in that department. They've only averaging giving the ball away less than 1 turnover per game, so that's been a huge feather in the cap of the Cougars all season long.
Yeah, and of course it was Connor Morris tonight getting it done. He had 160 yards, but shout out to Wade Bolin. He had 117 yards on 5 carries, the fullback. That's exactly what you ask out of him, get those tough yards. But tonight, man, he exploded onto the scene for 117 yards. And I think the big thing from the final stats and diving into the box scores, the penalties for Crestview, they played a pretty shaky game considering some of the mishaps they had. 9 penalties for 80 yards. They got to clean that up coming up to some tougher competition. South Central might be able to scare them with Mitchell at QB. They got a lot of athletes out there, and Plymouth, of course, coming up on the schedule, as well as St. Paul. So they got to clean up some of the mistakes and get better in the pass game.
I just love so much that this team is predicating a lot of their belief in themselves on the haters and the doubters, is that they are taking that negative energy, they are using it to build a chip on their shoulder, and so far it is working, G-Man. That's been the mantra of this team since the Week 1 win over Loudonville that I covered. That was the message, and ain't nothing changed for Crestview, and it continues to work, so why fix it now?
Continue to put your head down, go to work every day throughout the week and get better each and every day. And so far, man, they have, and they're looking like a pretty scary team that could do some serious noise in the playoffs, so they continue at the way that they're going.
Well, thanks everybody for watching our Saturday afternoon coverage of live and free high school football, where for the final time, your score here, Crestview 35, Ottawa Hills 10. Big shout out to our team for bringing you today's contest, including our camera people. Storm Blunchy was down on the field, Nick Jacobs up top. Also bringing you the drone shots, Adam Thompson, our fantastic producer. My name is Brian Skronsky for Garrett Parlett, thanking each and every one of you for watching, and also our sponsors for allowing us to do this live and free. But hey man, Week 6 is in the books. Only 4 more of these remaining in the regular season until we get to postseason time. But for now, for tonight, we are out of here.